He's not a school. Oh, is that your Miranda Denver?
Yeah, she's selling it. I thought she already had it on the market. Somebody's taking it.
Oh, that
Yeah.
house. No. Oh, she's sort
On there,
of wonderful. She loves Myrtle.
let's see. Could you?
Hey, Joe, no palm trees behind you. You got regular trees.
Yeah, it's a regular tree. Yep.
Only for a short time more.
Yep.
All right, are we ready?
Go for it.
Got my prepared speech. Good evening. My name is Michael DiLorenzo, and I'm the chairman of the Verona Conservation Commission. As indicated on the agenda for this meeting, this is an in-person meeting with remote access and video and conference call. Access information was provided and posted on the town website for commission members, applicants, and other interested persons to participate. Those joining remotely, I would ask that you mute your device if you are able to, so that we don't get any background noise or interference. When it's time for an individual to speak, I will ask you to unmute yourself, identify yourself. The number of people asked to speak, we ask that you be patient until your turn. Very important reminders, every time you speak, state your name and title for the record. Second, we must be careful not to speak over one another so that everyone who's listening can hear what is being said and we have a clear record. For this reason, a roll will be called as needed. Also, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be posted on the town's website. I am now going to ask. Thank you.
Chairman DiLorenzo,
Present.
Thomas Heisler,
Present.
Guy Hoffman,
Present.
Carl Lewis,
Present.
Joseph Mazza,
Present.
Robert Ramsey,
Present.
Mary Kaplan Rose, and Karen Pagliaro.
Thank you. First order of business, election of officers. Carl, I will. Yes, we all did forget about that. So we need nominations for chairman for this coming year and vice chairman for the Conservation Commission. The floor is open.
This is Guy Hoffman. I make a motion to nominate Michael DiLorenzo for chairman.
Second.
Whoa.
You don't get to speak. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Thank you. Are there any other nominations for chairman? If none, and all in favor of myself, Michael DiLorenzo as chairman for the coming year, state your intention, please.
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, everybody. As I always say with my little speech, I'll do my best and I ask for your help. It's a group effort, so let's continue that. Thank you. Nominations for vice chairman, chairperson.
I nominate Guy Hoffman, vice chairman. Second.
All in favor of nominating Guy Hoffman? Aye.
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 So moved. Thank you. Any other nominations for vice chairperson? If none, then all in favor of electing Guy Hoffman, vice chairperson for the coming year Conservation Commission, state your intentions, please. Aye.
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 So moved. Yes. Thank you, Guy, for being vice chairperson. Thank you, everybody. I nominate Marlo Latassa.
Second.
No, we never
All in
did that.
favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, I thought on the commission had a chair, vice chair, and secretary, so
We seemed.
if we have to revisit it next month, we will.
Okay.
Gotten along with it.
By default, somebody. Or,
And thank you, Guy.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So minutes of last month's meeting.
Acceptance, but I'll have some corrections.
Why
I
don't
have a
you,
couple of questions.
Okay, so they're just technical.
go ahead, start.
Under approval of minutes, right under Eagle Scout proposal, James Evans Eagle should be capitalized, Eagle Scout.
Repeat that paragraph again.
No, it's just.
That's the correction from the left.
Oh, never mind, Jesus. And Ragged Mountain, I'm gonna rage in a minute. Ragged Mountain.
Right, okay.
Rage Mountain.
It's, that reoccurs a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh, I just,
Rage Mountain.
oh,
Rage.
okay.
Rage. I already threw when I was.
And the other question I had is that the bike race is June 5th. not June 10th. And that there is not. You just put. Miss the not
There is not a rain date.
for the bike race. They do not have a. And I did call him to confirm that that is what he said. And
That's what he said.
that is. What he said.
Had no past.
Last year they canceled, or last year they, what, 19. They canceled
Yeah.
for rain one year and they did not.
They have a schedule. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else have any other modifications or corrections, additions? If not, then all in favor of accepting the minutes as we just amended? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then, was there a second?
Almost,
I thought I heard Rob second. Yeah.
No, I don't think I did, but sorry. Maybe I did.
You did it so fast.
Anyway,
Yeah, just like you guys
Whether you like it or not.
chair.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Speaking of those two events, Maureen, do they go to the council meeting?
There, the town council items got driven today for the town council meeting next week.
Next week.
I was
Okay.
not here for the last town council meeting, so
Okay,
skip it.
great. Thank you. Well, I guess while we're on last month's subjects, before we get to the new business, Eagle Scout is gonna reach out to Steve Wood, right? That was the pavers, well, still Wood
I think he began conversation, we talked to Jim Horrible,
first. Oh, because of potential wetlands.
right,
Okay.
so in process, but not.
It's kind of a good little Eagle Scout project, because they get to see how things have to work. in a setting, and different parties that have to be set. Okay, thank you. So I guess we're on the site plans. So there's one here and you have another one that needs to be added.
No, there's two on
There's
the
two.
agenda.
Oh, excuse me. I was, I didn't see any paragraph. So, okay. So, two actually.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
I think we took ones that
Didn't
don't
really.
have any
Okay.
of the site work off.
All right. Hydrangea.
So, if I may, Hydrangea House is the florist on Mill Street.
Sure.
Cheryl was there, thank you. And they own the adjacent buildings as well, so their plan is a unified site plan for the properties, three buildings in a row. You should have the plans. We don't have a digital set of plans. I'm sorry, I can't share that. Realize it. They'll be doing site work as well, adding parking and the potential for another building.
Sure.
So, the
The bigger ones. Yeah.
full set of this, because this is just architectural.
So is the river behind?
Yes. So it's the State Farm building that will have driveway changes and some parking adjustments. The building width there with the forest will have some modifications to it and adding a drive-through. This time will be used for the the florist, but with the potential of future possible.
Place of the florist, or is it-
You know, the drive-through is part of the florist, and then add, to the
those are-
front of the building, probably drive a specialty food
Oh,
kind of.
oh,
or something that, you know, looking forward to the future. But not at this time, and then a proposed building further to the west along Farmington Avenue up in front, and they'll do some parking improvements along with that.
So there's nothing where the proposed building is now.
So they're adding, they're gonna build another building to the west.
And they're adding impervious surface around the existing building.
Yes. I'm going to, for the benefit of the online group, I am going to pull up the aerial view of properties. And kind of, I believe they will be going to wetlands, but the wetlands doesn't come, the wetlands is delineated on the plan. Working on my review of it, so.
Back to
No, that's next door.
So this is going in between the florist and where the vacuum shop used to be,
No, to the west of that.
to the west, okay.
I'm gonna bring it up on the aerial map. Hold on one second. Let's see.
grasses, right?
Sorry, it just takes a minute to get all these share points in. So you're on Mill Street. Here's the ramp and the intersection with Worthington Ridge. I think the vacuum place is this area
yeah,
maybe.
that's it.
Here we have the ambulance. And then this is the State Farm office. This is Sharon Elizabeth's and the new building would be in this area. Here, snugged up closely to the parking area and the property line, you know, the minimum setback from the front setback and additional parking. Extending, I believe they're going to be extending the lot. They're going to be changing the flow of traffic through the site so that there's a drive-through lane that comes around this building like this for out in this direction, in this direction, and some modifications to the parking layout here. I'm gonna pull up the wetlands layer on the GIS, which you know is not flagged wetlands. You know, the wetlands is somewhat modified from that, and there is, I believe, on this plan show the wetlands
Right,
delineation.
something over here. Wetlands.
That's what this is, right? These are wetlands line. And they have an upland review area that the parking barely encroaches into the upland review area from the wetland, which basically, I'm gonna take off the layer because the layer is not representative of what's on the survey plan along this area, and then goes that way roughly. Exactly. I believe they're in the public hearing stage at Wetlands now. Be open next month. Don't. Sorry, we're just juggling a lot of things. Who has what at what point?
Do you have any comments? So are you saying that the layer that you just had up there is not
So the GIS layer is, for wetlands, is a compilation of different mapping from different sources, and it's not always reflective of mapped wetlands that the state. It's based on general mapping, unless there was specific mapping. Area, at which point GIS tries to update it.
Well,
On a file map.
so to meet the wetland definition, it has to have hydrosoils and hydrophytic vegetation and hydrology.
Things that
So that
cause a
the map,
surveyor to flag
right, so
the
that map
wetland.
that you showed with the whole blue was just the hydrosoils.
You know, I don't know the source of the wetlands mapping. I think it came from
So
a number
wetland
of
soils,
different,
yeah.
like, it comes from a number of different map sources. So some of the more generalized areas come from historic mapping as well.
Well, how would we restore it?
They built street house on a
Yeah,
swamp.
Avenue, it's all-
Well, there is,
So
the
is the
interest
drainage-
on this
is the
map
river
is
down
the
this way?
FEMA map,
On the screen?
which pretty much covers the entire
Well, I
Farmington.
know that
Avenue.
little bridge is up there, but is it a curve? It has to curve. I'm just wondering where the drainage goes. Anybody? Guy?
Hi, Guy Hoffman, Vice Chair. Yeah, I'm thinking that other overlay is probably wetland soils. So I think everything that's out there on the street in that area is all fill in on what was previously wetlands. I don't know. I mean, it's all in the flood zone too for FEMA. I mean, I have a hard time, like being in favor of anything that would be in addition to what's currently like that grass area, which is what, as I can picture it, is the end of the fill that they did whatever number of years ago, a long time ago, in through there. But to extend it out off on the back or move, further west or anything, I don't know. I mean, at what point do the wetlands have been narrowed down in through there and everything, and I don't know. They have wetlands stuff for a reason that there's not anything that they're going to be able to do to mitigate it. So I would think that it should be really limiting impervious cover and trying not to really do much more with at least the footprint of what is not obviously working as a wetland now. I mean, you have that grassy area that has been modified already. So I don't know.
So just to explain, because you're not seeing the map, this area here is the grass, on this grassy area is where the new building of 40 by 50, 40 feet wide by 50 feet is being
Right,
proposed right in this area.
right.
it-
But are all the parking and everything going to be still within?
There will be, according to C2 layout plan, there will be some encroachment into the 50-foot upland review area for parking turnarounds, like the what do you call it, the little T's that you put at the end of the parking aisle to back into That's about all that encroaches, looks like, into the upland review area. As far as new structure, I'm looking, the other,
But you also said,
And a portion of the parking in this area, let me get to it right here. There'll be parking added here that will be within the upland review area.
Maureen, just for frame of reference, the building that exists now, that's Sharon Elizabeth, do you have a dimension of how big that building is versus what they're trying to build that's 40 by 50?
so the existing building is 80 by 40, so 40 wide would be the width along Mill Street is consistent 40.
And then
And that building's 80, the new building,
So
so
they
they
will-
proposed it 50,
So they want to go the same width, 40, and then not as deep, 50.
yes.
That's taking up a lot of that space.
yeah. they have to be parking around.
It'll
And
be
adding
approximately to here.
Now, did they dig foundations for a building like that, or does that just go on slab?
Looking as though it's on a short slab. Parts of it, or is that, well, there's no foundation.
So it'll be a two-story.
Story.
Or else you open it too. It's probably not gonna fly down.
They need a map as well. Second map, hold up.
Right, this one, yeah, actually, what she had, it was probably, that was probably the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else have any other?
I just want to make,
yes.
for the record, I'm going to abstain from conversation. Okay, so I just want-
Anybody else? No, if not, I think we'll move on.
It's Guy Hoffman again. I figured if somebody else had something to say. Maureen, I'm just wondering, where do they show the wetland boundary? If you're just saying that they're not going to be in the wetland, but they're going to be within the review area.
So I'm trying to extrapolate.
I mean,
that.
if you're putting a 40 by 50-foot building in the grassy area, the stuff that's right by your cursor's got to be in the wetland. The part that's not grass, that's not mowed and stuff.
So they have the wetlands coming from the property line over about 50 feet. So I'd say that the wetlands boundary is approximately, is approximately in this area. Comes down, zigzags a bit to look at. The upland review area cuts into this south corner of the existing parking, but drops below over here. And then comes down, I'm gonna say close to there and circles this way.
Huh.
For the upland review area.
So the wetlands is 50 feet this side of it. I'm thinking maybe along this line, somewhat close to that line. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pull this up. I didn't realize I didn't have a digital copy of it until it was too late to
scan it this afternoon. I thought I received a digital copy of it. This won't be on the Planning and Zoning Commission until April. And I think it's the second April meeting that the site plan has been scheduled for the hearing, so I can scan it prior to the next meeting as well.
All right. I mean, it's amazing what can happen, I guess. But, you know, I assume that it's not showing up as wetland because it's filled. And so you don't have wetland soils because you have fill in what used to be the wetland. So then you can piggyback on that and then build some more. And say that it's not in the wetland. I mean, my comment would be to keep them as far away from the wetland as possible and realize that whatever additional impervious surfaces that you're gonna be adding there is just gonna be adding to an existing flood zone.
Cool. All right, anything else? All right, fill that one up. Shuttle Meadow Development, 309. Main Street in East Berlin. Is that digital? You have that digital?
I do have this one digitally. Right now I have, get it up for everybody else. It's there. Is the narrative that goes with it. That may help everyone, it may not. And actually, let me jump to the GIS first. We started this conversation. The Mill Street, Main Street, East Berlin, and this is the parcel that discussing. Of course, doesn't show up as specific parcel. Trying to highlight it. Won't work. It's this parcel right here. This is the parcel next to it on the corner that has 3 residential buildings on it now, multifamily. This has an old house on it, which maybe we can have a field card that shows the house. Doesn't really look like that anymore. It's got a front porch, it's broken windows, etc. It is being considered or has been suggested for the blight list. There used to be another house on the property and that was taken down a number of years ago. By the previous owner. Shuttle Meadow Development now owns it and is looking to do a multifamily development on the westerly side of the lot. Again, we do have wetlands and flood flood areas that show up on the property to the eastern side of the property, the river down at the back. Now I'll jump to site development plan. If it loads, it'll take it a minute because there's lots of sheets. There we go. So this being the entire parcel, this being Main Street in East Berlin, they're proposing to use the existing two-family house to continue that as 2 units, 3 units along a new drive, and then 4 more clusters of additional residential units, with the 2 furthest to the east being 4 units side by each, and oh, I am having a terrible time with words this week.
Conservation.
Yeah, conservation easement to the back of the property. Sorry, I'm bouncing around here.
Some rain gardens.
Sorry. Map keeps bouncing up. One second. So I think, generally speaking, the development on the high part of the lot is where the driveway is coming in, and that's what's been developed as, the lawn and yard for the house that's existed there for over a century, I believe. They have a lawn area here, and then an undisturbed wooded buffer that then crosses over the 100-year flood limit, and a conservation easement area extending to the easterly side of the property. They have some chambers in here for drainage, some rain gardens, a rain garden up here on the northerly edge of the property, another one on the westerly side. They did increase their initial proposal by adding 2 additional units, and that's so that they can also provide affordable housing units, or rather, that was what they determined they needed in order to provide some affordable housing units in the complex, which is something the Planning and Zoning Commission has generally been requesting for multifamily developments. I can skip to another page. I can tell you whatever else I possibly can. And like I said, we also have the description of the project. If you'd like to read through the narrative, I'll pull that back up.
Were they were the town put on conservation easement?
Usually a conservation easements generally go to the town. I haven't looked at the proposal yet to make sure of that, but it would be deed restricted as a conservation easement. If you have recommendations as to who holds it. I don't know if I'm not sure if their narrative addressed that.
Well, they do have a few rain gardens in there. And, looks like the perimeter is bordered with trees too. Yeah, it's interesting with the rain gardens, because you don't see them.
It doesn't look like we got that they were specific in their application with the holder of the conservation easement.
Do they include any kind of long-term maintenance of rain gardens and things like that in their proposals ever?
That would come to, that we would usually have a plan for the rain garden, would be. Is there a sheet showing rain garden?
Yes.
Like if I try to jump through the digital ones, it'll take forever to. I can certainly jump to the right sheet, but it might be easier.
It's just detailed. There's no there.
But that's usually standard.
That's something that we,
You would look into.
engineering would be looking.
Got it.
Something, yeah. Christopher Way off Southington Road, there is, management.
Okay.
But we'll note it, that's it.
Yeah, there was one theoretically on Tollgate Road, Connell Drive too.
Well, hasn't that always been the issue, is what happens
Yes.
after? It's all.
Exactly. Yeah, just. Filled up.
Does that area have sewer, or are they all on wells? That area of East Berlin?
Sewer.
I was
And
just
just to the
curious
south of it
what,
is that finisher's court, right? The other
Yes,
multifamily
Finishers
house.
Court is next door. This parcel, that's what, these three buildings on the corner of Finishers Court. That's the name I was looking for. Sanitary system. Stormwater. That's water. Water. That's all in,
so it's all sewer.
also. That is a general requirement, or not a requirement, but a recommendation for multifamilies. Yeah, there's technology out there.
Right.
But generally speaking, multifamily requirements, right, their proposals include sewer service, some of the regulation, for certain types we do require it. For instance, the PR2 multifamily that's being proposed out at Shuttle Meadow Country Club, that is required. I'm not sure. It's required. Double check the regulations. But again, it's available.
For multifamily. So, Guy,
Yeah. Guy Hoffman, Vice Chair. Maureen, it was hard for me to follow on that for one thing. The zoning out there, that's a different zoning for that property?
It's called the POR zone. And that's planned office residential, and this is the extent. So the corner lot that Finishers Court is on, the lots to the west, and the one on the other side, that's the commercial condos. They are all in the planned office residential zone, which allows for multifamily development.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious if they had gone through some kind of process first to change that property.
No, I'm not aware of it changing since I've been here. I don't know when the lines for the POR were drawn and or if they were ever modified once they were established over there. But as long as I can remember, that's been the configuration, or at least close to.
I think for, at least for my comments, and I think for probably the commission, I mean, it's more along the lines of what we'd like to see. We had positive comments on the property next door, but that, also was an industrial site, initially, and then getting changed around. But this one, is holding the line for where they're developing and staying out of the 100-year flood zone. And has a conservation easement area, which I think is pretty responsible, but also, I mean, it's good for them too, because the property does flood. So you've seen it up pretty high. So it's not just like in theory that, well, we got a 100-year flood line. I mean, it floods substantially a lot more often than every 100 years. So I think it's good that they've stayed just totally out of that area. And the conservation easement's always a plus, so. Or almost always a plus, so.
I agree, and I also like the fact that there are rain gardens planned throughout the property to allow the water back in. And I like the tree line they got around the whole property too. Anybody else have any comments? Good guy? Thank you.
Are they apartments or rentals? if they're gonna do affordable housing.
Not
Well,
sure I,
affordable
there
could
they
be
are.
sale prices.
Yeah,
Affordable or
Yeah.
limited sale prices.
Okay.
So you can't have
Okay.
affordable, it just has a deep restriction. Either way.
So they do have a first and second.
So really, the design
Ridgeview
of
East.
this one is really, we would call this a 1.5 story.
Sorry.
Because it's not,
Is that the,
because
is that
it's
the
in
one
peaks.
that's, is that the one that's taking up where the house is now?
No, this is one of the big, units. Clusters of great. Yes, it's a sample what they gave us. I'm giving you guys a headache online as I scroll, let me know. Sorry. Sometimes I gotta bounce around a little.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Stop sharing.
Any, Wait, before we move on to town lands, any other updates on previous proposals that we?
Recall when I mentioned it, I don't think so. Maintaining the status where the planning and zoning commission still has the public hearing open for the preserve at Shuttle Meadow Country Club,
As well as the 554 Berlin Turnpike. Of the mixed use project. Both of those are still under open public hearing. For the 17th,
And 404.
for that was approved and they're underway.
Yep, you can see that.
Being well monitored by the building department, obviously, particularly with the direction of the retaining walls that have been going in and engineering vision with regard to the pump station, water control, all monitoring that and that interdepartmental site visit is planned to go out, has been scheduled, but we're trying to find when we can get out there together to make sure that the plants are.
Thank you. And nothing with the, or I should say, anything with the Chamberlain Highway, existing Sunny Borders, that project?
No, I know that, oh no, it's not even that one. No, we haven't heard anything, the movement of the conservation area, I think they're still trying to pursue, but we haven't gotten anything from their attorney as far as I know. Attorneys have been in contact with each other regarding wording of legal documents related to it. But as of the last thing I heard, nothing had been identified that would preclude the conservation access from being to the access law. Can be drawn up accurately, you know.
I may have missed a meeting, but I know that there's a question about the potential parking on the new easement. That would be outside of course our big, but would be a deal breaker, right? If we could, if for example, I don't know who does it, is it the police commission or the traffic commission? I don't know, but
So we did get a report
Sightline.
back from the
Yeah.
police
yeah,
department
Okay.
that the sightlines were adequate. And they were
Okay.
not concerned that that would be
all right.
reasonable and that
Yeah.
the general consensus, and I think some part of it, the consensus came from this board that the availability of approximately 4 cars was reasonable for that access.
Yep.
And that's
Okay.
about what they show they can provide.
Yeah, sure.
So 4 cars
Yeah, I
is
missed
doable.
the sightline thing, so that's
So-
awesome. All right.
So we did,
Right.
yeah, I think we sent it down to that, that was
Okay.
primary concern of mine, and they replied back, and we,
Thank
and
you.
engineering.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, that would be a special concern, maybe some signage towards inside the parking lines, turning onto a high-speed highway.
And Mr. Grimm was
Take care.
it seems to be very amenable to signage.
right, so. I did receive an email from a town resident, a hiker. Noticed some potential vehicle damage on a portion of Bicentennial Park. Kensington Road, so you did find the email, thank you.
Okay.
So it sent some pictures along and our resident hiking detective,
No.
Opal Carr, went out. And I think Steve Wood went out to go look too, so actually there was some other pictures with the mud, right?
That's the second picture. That's all that's in this email.
So Maureen, could you call it the town map too, on Kensington Road, just call it, did you go out there?
Let me
Yeah, I
just
took
make
a
sure
walk
this-
up there. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Show
as,
us where it is.
it's as advertised. Yeah, it just runs out to the new, the building in the back there.
So it's off Kensington Road,
You look at
after
that,
that curve.
yeah, you remember, was it truck trolley was building houses back there? If you guys remember, when we looked at the plan, it was an interesting plan because there was a bomb shelter or something in the backyard. You remember that one? A long time ago.
Yeah, that was a while.
Yeah, so those houses, and that's, so, anyway. Hey, I don't know if it's a one-off or not. I didn't notice like,
Tell me where I'm headed. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me what am I on? Kensington Road I want to be
oh,
on?
no, you want to be on the end of Winesap.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, so,
I got it.
so where are we? Here's the end of Winesap. Okay.
I'll get it nice and big for everybody. Can you guys see the map now? Or are you seeing pictures still? Map? Okay.
No, we see the map.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so it's gonna be like the existing, so the dog, the trail that runs around the meadow
But the
is like
area?
this, and then, yeah, that'll be even better, I think. Right,
I gotta
so,
look at my own screen to do that.
so the bridge is gonna be somewhere down here approximately, and that's where the crossing was, and then if you pull the and let me see, I think it goes out to here. Goes out to there, I believe.
And that road there is Kensington Road.
And so, but it was.
And
it
where
was-
were the tire tracks?
Wait, Maureen.
What's that?
Where were the tire tracks?
Crossing
Down.
Hatchery Brook
Down.
near the,
Right there, see,
This guy?
the big lot with the.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
that.
Okay.
crossing Hatchery Brook and at the, once you cross Hatchery Brook, there's a loop on the other side, on the east side of
Yep.
Hatchery Brook. There's a loop up there. That's what the
Yep.
dude was talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
So that,
Okay.
it appeared to me to be a one-off. I don't know if somebody's just went in there because they had opportunistically. We'll have to keep an eye on it. In terms of like the trail, which is the only thing my wife said to me, "You're going out there to try to catch anybody." I'm not, I'm just trying to like, like that's impossible. Not impossible, but there's bog bridges in there, right? Adjacent to the bridge because it's so wet. And it's no less wet now that a beaver decided to, a few years ago, and so it got wetter in there. It's always been wet. So to harden those things, I mean, I'm not gonna get into a big deal about it, but coming off the loop trail, that would be coming off, this thing runs around like this, right? And it runs up on if you looked at a topographical map, this is high and this is low. Once you get down here, it's really low, and to harden that would take it would just take some effort. I mean, it's just,
But the tracks were more to
the tracks were around the bridge.
Oh, they're not
Which
far
is
in.
somewhere here?
Yeah.
Said the bridge.
Yeah, something like that. It's hard for me to tell. I only grew up there, been walking there since I
So
was
how
a
do you
kid.
figure they
So what-
accessed it from
Not from here.
the Kensington Road?
Oh, yeah.
Access it.
Was it like a Jeep vehicle or like a quad type thing?
I think it was like, it might have been a Ranger, it might have been a.
It's large. Oh,
But you know, it's difficult to know. It was difficult for me to tell this. But
Did you take tire prints?
Plaster cast.
Plasters, yeah.
no, I've been known to take a camera out to the bicentennial park, but I'm not taking any. I think you will recall a few years ago, I made a distributed pictures. All that. Yeah. Take
Organic.
So you think this was a?
It seemed like a one-off to
single
me.
incident that,
Hopefully it was.
Yeah, and but you know, it's good to have Ray Martin lives on Mountain View, and he uses that park every day, so he's good eyes to have out. He runs. He's an animal.
It's good to have sense, I suppose. Thank you. Thank you.
And in terms of hardening the transfer route, it would be really difficult down there. It's really.
Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Maureen, update on the garden?
only that we've gotten a really good, response to the gardeners from last year, as well as I did a couple of new inquiries. But it's pretty well filled up, and we're very anxious to get started. Disappointed that opening is April 1st and not sooner, but we've assured anyone who inquired that that's what the town determined is appropriate for opening the facilities, and when the porta potties, you know, supposed to coincide with that, and it's April 1st.
So by the last email that I saw, it looks like four plots are left.
Could be. I did, Fran was actually working on it this afternoon, and we didn't get to have a powwow after she was for the day. With regard to where she was with taking in applications. Carol has been communicating, Carol and Fran communicating with partners that didn't really do much last year and or abandoned their plots to make sure they weren't abandoned. And Carol's already looking to how this can be at least done with it to be more attractive to others and less nuisance for the adjacent partners.
Great.
Comment on, there've been a couple of Facebook posts about bobcats in town. And somebody made a comment, could we transplant one of them to the community gardens to take care of the moles? Evidently they have moles, and that's not good for gardening. So I thought that was really funny. Put them right in that enclosed area. They can do- See that they do the rest of the time.
They do gardeners.
Yeah.
But it must be someone that has a garden there, because they.
Well, that's
It's a
good.
bowl.
It looks like.
It's like a mouse on steroids.
Could be like a mouse,
Oh,
it has,
really?
it has like a snout, a little pointy snout.
It's got a short tail.
Oh, really?
It's a little stockier. How do you know all this? Because I'm a nerd. Oh, okay.
I know, I've had bowls in my yard, too, you know, they're the ones that'll make the trench under the ground.
Oh,
stuff like that. Almost have to put a mouse in a bowl side by side.
There's a lot of them.
It just,
But a lot of
occurred to
people
me, I
say
didn't know what a
feed
bowl was.
They say you wouldn't have bowls if you didn't have
Works.
grubs.
Yeah.
So if you have grubs, and then of course we use chemicals here for the grubs, that's not good, so. But the bowls eat the grubs, yeah, but you don't want them eating the roots either.
They'll eat all your tulips too.
Tulip bulbs,
Yeah. The tulip bulbs, yeah. not
yeah, the
flowers.
bulbs, right.
All right, so
I have a
Fran,
stuffed one.
keep on that, or
Yeah, she did
let
give me
somebody know,
information.
or if there's like if any spots left, maybe throw something in the citizen or something. It's too
Yeah,
early now.
I think right now we're still well on the way of getting them assigned. Inquiries and checks were coming in yesterday.
All right.
For sure, I know I saw.
Thank you.
This week.
And Carol will coordinate with Steve on the opening.
If there's any other concerns, Steve just announced he changing the locks for the first, and
Oh, he's on it, okay.
then it'll be complete. She has a email list of the gardeners and sends out information to them.
Probably need another tutorial on well use, right? Steve will do that. 'cause he-
That- Yeah, that's actually a good reminder.
Should actually maybe talk to Carol about making that a mandatory in service for all the gardeners, you know, for 15 minutes or something.
Yeah. I think they have made some revisions over the course of last year that should make it more fail-safe as far as not being able to overrun it. And they did get the extra battery and panel, so it should not get timed out.
Right, but just, you know, new gardeners
Yeah.
and people who might have forgotten. It's always good.
Oh, I think a yearly,
So once they worked out the kinks there, it was like, more water that they could use, flying out of that thing.
it's good.
Yeah.
Finally,
We didn't need one.
finally,
Yeah.
without having to
Well, it was
provide
something-
electric service to a conservation area and other utilities.
You know, it's solar, though. I still think that's a great thing.
No, my water
Yes.
bill was way lower than the year before.
Yeah,
Such a wet season.
you're right, there's something before. All right, anybody else have any other comments? Guy, Joe, anybody?
Hi, it's Guy. No, not much. I was just gonna add, the Bobcats' preferred food are rabbits, though. So that's I had two in my yard the other night. I got a wildlife camera out there. I had two, one with a collar. So he's got a monitoring collar on, so.
Yeah, you're right, Guy. There have been a lot of posts in the last week about cats, big cats running loose.
Yeah, we've seen them during, late in the day and stuff, the last 2 or 3 years. We've had one real big one here, but I'm picking them up like going through at night. The other night was pretty good. I had a fox, 2 bobcats and a coyote, so all in one evening. But yeah, the cats are the ones there on Tollgate are probably the ones that I'm seeing here too. Because one day they came through my yard and headed north straight up towards Tollgate. So I think that's part of the route that they're going. That's all I got. It wasn't really for the commission's, official stuff.
And to close, I also want to say congratulations to Maureen. She is now the town of Berlin's official town planner.
Nice.
Maureen,
Congratulations.
All right.
Maureen.
Congratulations.
God bless you.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Great.
Thank you,
Well done.
everyone. I appreciate the support.
Thank you. Thanks for your help. All right, how about a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
So moved. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
What was the gentleman's name?